Morning, everyone. Welcome to the next
The next
perfect step.
Yeah.
I'm Laurie Mullen.
I'm Laurie Tremblay.
And I'm Joan Rossi.
And we welcome you to our channel. So we created a channel for us to be able to have conversations and talk about everyday things that happen between us. And we hope that this helps you on your journey. So one of the first topics we thought we'd talk about was what created this channel and what the next perfect step meant to us. So for me, the next perfect step is allowing more than I or you could ever imagine. And that's the next perfect step. So as an example, you're on your way to a meeting and you think the best thing to do is manifest front row parking. That would be great. That feels wonderful to you. But maybe the next perfect step is the only parking spot available to you is a block away. So you park a block away, you get out of your car, and you're walking to your meeting. And on the way, you find a $100 bill. You walk through the perfect, most beautiful garden you've ever seen that you never knew was there. You run into the perfect people. At the door, you walk in with your boss and you're not late for your meeting, because the meeting can't start without your boss. So it's allowing everything to be the next perfect step. Not just thinking that we know what the next perfect step is and trying to manifest the front row parking spot. The next perfect step could be a block away. So it's allowing you to see everything as the next perfect step. So that's what it means to me. Anyone else want to share?
Sure, I love it. Sounds like you're in the flow all the time, and I love that. So that's what it means to me too, is just being in the flow, just really learning to listen to your intuition, trusting those gut instincts, and knowing that allowing things to come, allowing things to happen, not trying to make them happen, not trying to force things, or like Laurie said, thinking you need that front row parking spot, when if you just follow your instincts and follow your joy, then you can park a block away. For me, a good example was our move here. I live in New Hampshire, near the Lakes region, and we moved from Massachusetts during the pandemic. And so during that move, all the logical things that normally happen, my husband and I just kind of said, let's just trust the flow. And I wrote something down, what I was hoping for, and things happened in such a miraculous, unusual way that I would not have expected. But everything came, was when I allowed it, the next perfect step came. We did the action, and then the next perfect step came, and then we just got to this place that we didn't know existed here in this region, and we are just thrilled to be here. So it was quite miraculous, just following those steps, and that's what I try to do every day. Not always successfully, but just clearing yourself, just trusting in the guidance that you get, that's freely given, that's freely available. And that to me is joy. That to me is the way to live, and brings you peace, and brings you to that point where it's fantastic. It's great. What do you think, Joan?
Well, it's a combination of what you two talked about, and there's definitely a basic component that, allowing the universe to do what it needs to do for us, you know what I mean? And being conscious about what kind of energy we put out there, I think subconsciously, a lot of times I put energy out there that I don't realize. It's, I think it's all in how we present it as well. Let me try to get my thoughts straight here. So, when when you go against the universe, you get exactly what you asked for. You know what I mean? Just allowing the universe to show us the path. You know what I mean? Like a perfect example that Laurie said about parking far away, because you could be missing out on things if you don't. You know, because you're thinking about, I got to get to that meeting. You're putting yourself in the future, and instead of putting yourself in the present, and taking time to smell the roses as you walk. You know, or just it could be just the little things that we miss. You know, having expectations can also let us down a lot too. So living in the present for me is what this, you know, the next perfect step. Living in the present. That's it. Listen to our breath, and you know, being conscious of whether we're breathing or not. So that's how I basically look at it. You know, it's just being present and allowing the universe to, you know, show us, instead of worrying about what's going on in the future. It hasn't happened yet. And the past, well, we can't undo that. It's, you know, learning how to forgive ourselves.
Yeah, it's about thinking that we know what we think we know what
Right.
needs to happen, trying to control it, right?
Right.
So
Trust in the universe.
that they know more than that they can see the bigger picture than we can. We think we have to control it, we have to figure it out, that we have to create it, when
Right.
really we just need to allow, because
Right.
spirit wants more for us than they know exactly what we need and want. Our higher self, our soul knows exactly what we need and want.
Right.
We don't have to figure it out or tell them, or it's, you know, you think you want the parking spot, but really the magic is a block away. And it's allowing that to be okay.
Yeah.
You know, and like you said, not be the whole walk,
Right.
being thinking about, I'm going to be late. I didn't get the parking spot. What's wrong with me? What's blocking me? What's doing this? What's the problem? And missing out on all the magic that happened in that block away.
Yeah.
Right? It's
Mhm.
just like Lori said, to be perpetually allowing everything to be perfect.
Mhm. Yeah.
You know, surrender isn't surrendering ourselves to something outside of ourselves. Surrender is all about surrendering our worry, our control, our perfectionism, our doing, right? That's blocking the allowing to happen, the magic to happen. And
Yeah.
seeing everything as the next perfect step, which I fully admit is a very difficult thing to do. You know,
It
when
can
you're
be.
having an argument with your friend or your family, that does not look like the next perfect step. That somehow down the line, when you look back, it was the next perfect step to get you to where you are now.
Mhm.
Whatever growth is happening, you know, we talk, you hear all the time about the butterfly and the cocoon, and what happens in there. And transformation is, you know, breaking down, right? Breaking down, you know, bones and whatever, but really breaking down our belief systems and change. And that's not easy. That's not a beautiful thing.
No, it's
But
not.
the result is,
Mm.
if you allow that to happen, the result is
Mhm. Yeah.
And sometimes those things that happen that look like they're not the next perfect step that you were mentioning are our greatest teachers too. And you know, I need to pay attention to that a lot, and also to realize that we should not allow fear to drive us. That's prevalent. I don't watch TV and the news anymore because of that, but get it from other sources. But it's all fear driven, and I think that's the opposite of taking the next perfect step. It's like, you got to do this, you've got to do this. This is going to hurt you. You just go with the flow, just feel the feel, and just keep going in faith. And
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's something we've all discussed previously, is the doing, right? I mean, I think we've
Mhm.
all been getting these messages that one of the biggest changes right now is our belief systems that we have to do something,
Right.
that there's some type of action step, when really what we need to do is stand still and allow everything to come to us instead of chasing after it, which for me especially has been extremely difficult. It feels like pushing against the boulder, right? I have been taught in my whole life, I am a do. I have to do something. And to stand still and not do anything feels like I'm failing, like nothing's going to happen if I just stand still.
Mhm.
And yet, teaching myself in these moments where I have stood still have been the most magical moments so far.
Yeah.
That's completely counter to what we've been
Mhm.
taught.
And it feels horrible in the body. I'm going to tell you, in the beginning, it feels absolutely horrible. I could actually feel the fight within myself. Like I
Yeah.
felt like I was ripping myself apart,
Mhm.
literally trying not to do and fighting my mind that's telling me you're not doing it right. Nothing's going to happen if you stand still. And yet it did.
Yeah. Yeah.
So was it in May, the three of us went for a girls' weekend, and basically we were thinking it was going to be a healing weekend. We'd have to, go out and get some herbs, and because we met in herbal school, and we sat by a beautiful river in a cabin, and it was magical, and nothing happened that we thought was going to happen, but this idea of the podcast came out just through our conversations, because we stayed up late and just had these amazing conversations, and we said, what if we just did this together? And I know I would like to listen to the conversations. I'd like to participate in them. And this is the beginning of our podcast. Our first one is today, and it's just really exciting to
Yeah.
be together with my dearest friends.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Truly magical.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. The next perfect step.
Yeah, and this is something that we heard the next perfect step through. I think, a lot of times throughout this podcast, you're going to hear us talk about other channelers, other authors, just discussing what we're seeing and hearing and feeling throughout our paths and journeys, right? So, I mean, we're all on a journey. I think the whole perfect next step always starts with realizing there even is a journey or a path, right? And none of our paths look the same. We may be on the same path, we may be beside each other, but not all our paths look the same. So we read different books, we hear different things, we experience different things. And it's the wonderful thing about coming together and talking with the three of us, is that we get to share what we're excited about, or what we're confused about, or what doesn't feel right to us. And then we come with different perspectives, different beliefs, different things that we've learned and felt, and we get to share that and talk through it, which just usually is just so expansive and just fills you up, right? That you get to have this deep soul conversation. And one of my favorite people that I'm into, and several of us are, is Sarah Landon. And that was where we first heard the next perfect step. And it resonated so much with all of us. And we all, as we explained, each one all came with what that meant to us. And it just feels so right. And led us to many more in-depth conversations, which was just absolutely wonderful. And these are what we'd like to share with you. Please feel free to, leave a comment, tell us your thoughts and feelings. And, we'll talk through and share with you how we feel and what our perspective of that is.
Mhm.
So we thank you for joining us for our first episode of The Next Perfect Step, and we will see you next week. Have a wonderful, beautiful day.
Yeah. Have a great day.